Green Man! 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 Holy YouTube video, Green Man!
Okay, it's me again. I want to tell you about this eBay purchase that I made. It was only available for collection, so I got a pretty good deal for it. There's some more in that box at the bottom there actually, but basically it's 506. I'm not actually counting them, but this is what he said it was. It came in these two big boxes, plus there's another packet wrapped up in a couple of bags, and because it was collection only, I don't drive, so I had to put all this in this shopping trolley and get it from one part of London to another part of London. So it was all fun and games. I would have got there earlier and avoided the rush hour, but I had workmen coming over. So yeah, what I'll do, I'll keep these videos to like 20 minutes if I can, and I'll just show you off a few of them at a time. So there's some more in this box here. So there's a lot of Superman from like late 80s to 90s, and a couple of more recent ones. Okay, so Secret Files and Origins number 2, Superman 10 Cent Adventure. Here's a Superman special from 1983, number 1, and from 1984, number 2 there. We've got Emperor Joker. This one wasn't actually on the list that you put on the sale list, so this is a bonus one. I've got a few doubles here. And one of these Secret Files and Origins was a double. It was not mentioned either. So I think give me a couple of free books by accident. So a lot of these I've already got, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately, because I tend to sell them. That was the whole idea. The fact I got these at a steal, really. These like 500 lots, they come to less than 30p a book, and they're all in really good condition. Nothing, I can't fault the condition at all. So I've got 3 80-page giants there. This one I know I haven't got, but the other two I think I may have. And there's gaps in my collection that can be filled up. I was hoping it'd be the Death of Superman, but a few of those issues are missing, which is a shame, because I kind of missed out on that. So anyway, here's the Man of Tomorrow, 1 and 2. Then we've got to number 4. Then we have 5 and 6. Number 7 is missing. Then we go to 8. 9. Moving this back a little bit. And 10. No number 11, so we go straight to number 12. No 13, but we've got 14 here. 15. Right, and then we go a couple of annuals of the Man of Steel. So annual number 1 for the Man of Steel. Annual number 2 for the Man of Steel. Annual number 4 for the Man of Steel. And then we got a run of Man of Steel, so 0. This is obviously not in the right position because 0 doesn't actually start at the beginning of the run on this one, it goes somewhere in the middle. Right, then we got number 1 from 91, number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I don't need to be telling you the blinking numbers, do I? I get stuck in that in my head with that. But actually, yeah, these are a lot of ones I don't have, so that's good. That's the whole point of it. And I'm hoping that the ones that are doubles, I can sell them for £1 each. If I can sell them for £1 each, I'll have probably made up back what I've blinking well paid for them. Or, you know, even maybe £1 each, maybe a bit more. I don't know how much these kind of... It's hard to sell, say, with Superman comics. They're not always a good sell, are they? I mean, if you sell them individually and you can find the people who want them, you get a better deal. But you're probably better off selling them as a bit of a job lot. Now, the thing was with this batch, I didn't actually win it. I made first of all, I saw no one was bidding on it. for about a week, nearly a week, and about 6 days in, no one had bid on it. So I thought, I know, I'm going to make him a lesser offer than what he's asking for, because that's what I do nowadays. I think, what's the point? I might as well give it a try. There's no harm in trying, and quite often I've been getting accepted, so which is cool. He didn't accept though on the under offer, and then so I made a bid on it when it came out. I had a figure in my mind, I like. Someone else outbid me anyway, basically, and I was like, okay, not a problem. I was kind of relieved actually that I hadn't won, because I keep going on about I feel like I'm spending, more than I should be. Hopefully, I'm gonna cut out on buying for a long time now, because it's just getting too much. Anyway, but the person who bid on them, some reason changed their mind, and I noticed I didn't realise what it was. Well, I got a second offer. On them on the asking price that it ended on, kind of thing. And it wasn't as I say, it was less than 30p a book, and I was like, go on then. Oh, you've twisted my arm. So, and then I had an epic journey across London with my basket on wheels, as we call these little trolley things here in the UK. I was on my mum's basket on wheels. She was in a basket on wheels, my mum. And they're not exactly the height of coolness when you're a dude, but I don't care about coolness. I've never cared about coolness particularly, so I'm quite happy to rock a shopping trolley across London on public transport. So yeah, I got it was near Holloway Road. I kind of knew the area, but I was getting confused with Upper Holloway, because the easiest one for me is Upper Holloway, because it's on the line, which is like the overground line, which is like a minute, about a 2-minute walk from my house. So then it turned out it was Up Holloway Road, which is, I had to get 3 trains there basically. And then when I got there, it was telling me that I had a Google map to try and find the place. And it was telling me I was there when I was still on the main road, and I was like, well, where is it then? The Google map was useless. It was kind of behind I was sort of on the main road by a row of shops, and it was actually behind the row of shops that I was standing in front of. But it didn't actually didn't describe that very well on the map, so to speak. So it turned out, obviously going to pick anything up in person, you hear all sorts of horror tales, don't you, about people getting mugged and all that kind of stuff. And so anyway, I got to behind this row of shops to start looking around, and it was like a big estate, and this is at North London. And this is an area like Islington, not too far from Islington, but basically there's been a lot of stabbings. There's been a few stabbings. But London, like any major city, you've got crime. It's normally the gangs, kids stabbing each other up for no readily apparent reason, really. Certainly should be finding more productive ways to spend their time. But so obviously I was a bit and it was like a big estate, a big block of flats, and I was like, when you're out of your comfort zone, somewhere you don't know, everything seems a little bit wary, So I was a bit, and also there was no bloody road signs telling me what name of the road I was on. So anyway, I managed to find it. I asked some bloke for directions. Well, I actually asked, is this so and so road? And I was actually in the right place. I'd found it already. So I buzzed up to the guy's flat, and he wasn't in. He wasn't answering. What had happened? He actually messaged me on eBay, and I hadn't seen it because I was in transit. I was a bit later than I wanted to be, because the workman had kept me for longer than I'd hoped, because I was hoping to get there like the earliest that he was available to be there, so I could be there and back before rush hour kicked in, because my mate Elric was coming over and we was doing one of our vinyl videos. So anyway, I managed to pick him up from him. He actually was walking into his flat. He was actually coming home from the post office when I got to his front door. So that was handy. And he was a nice enough bloke. He had everything that boxed up really nicely for me. Helped me, load it up in my trolley. I should have brought one of them spongy, you get like a spongy, hooky rope kind of thing that you can wrap around things. I should have brought one of them with me, or pick one up so I could hold the one of the boxes in place a bit more easier. Anyway, so it was blooming heavy. These boxes were blooming heavy, and and I was a little bit foolish. What happened? When I got back to the station, I managed to get it down the stairs. I had all these people offering me help, and I was like, "Oh no, it's all right," because I didn't want them to do their backing. I was thinking, because it was so heavy, I didn't want one person holding the other end of the trolley. I was just going to bump it down the stairs. I thought that would be the best, an easier way to do it, rather than somebody doing their backing, because it wasn't like it was light at all. It was pretty heavy. But yeah, a few people did help me anyway. Even some people just grabbed it to offer assistance without even asking. But that apparently wasn't as heavy as I thought, because they didn't sort of like break their backs or anything. So that was cool. But anyway, when I got back to the station, I went down to where where the trains were, and for some reason I thought I'd come the wrong way, because some stations you have like different entrances to the lines, and for some reason I thought I'd gone to the wrong line. I'm quite happy with this one, number 1 of this, is it volume 2 of Superman or something? Number 1 and 2, no number 3. Right, what is it on the back of that one? No, number 4, number 10. Anyway, so I went down the stairs with my trolley, thought I'd gone to the wrong bloody end part of the line, because I didn't look at the map quickly enough. I looked at it too quickly, in fact. Not quickly enough. I didn't look at it carefully enough. So I thought I'd gone down the wrong bloody stairs. So I hefted it all the way up the stairs again, got to the top, and I was like, no, that was the bloody right thing. I wasn't looking properly at the bloody map. So I had to go back down the stairs again. So I'm making a rod for my own back by like doing extra effort that I needn't have done if I'd only been more blinking patient and observant looking at the blinking map. So that was like that was a workout on its own. I managed to get it on the first train. It's hard getting it on the train as well, because you've got quite a sort of quite a step up to get on the train, and it was quite heavy. And one of the bloody trains I was getting onto, the stupid driver started shutting the door while I was still halfway through the door. So I was not best pleased with that, I've got to say. The last thing I want to do is be trapped in the door and dragged along the platform to my death. That would have been a real bummer. But yeah, no, luckily I was able to shift my arse and get on board. But it was because of I had difficulty finding the place a little bit, and walking up and down stairs where I needn't have done 3 times. I might have been a little bit early. I might have been able to avoid the rush hour a bit. But once I got to my last train on the overground, it was no way I was going to be able to get on board that train. With the amount of people that were heaving on board the train, it just wasn't going to happen. A train come along and it was just packed. Now, if I tried to get on there with my trolley, I probably would have been hung, drawn, and quartered. You don't want to anger commuters on a train in rush hour in London, because they just eviscerate you. Really, it's. I think it's an accepted fact. If you mess with the commuters, they'll hung, drawn, and quartered at the very least. Right, I'm talking rubbish, of course. So what I did, I went on the train going in the other direction instead, because it was going away from it was actually going towards the centre of town rather than away from the centre of town, because in the evenings people were coming out from the city centre going to the homes in the suburbs or whatever. So I went the other way. I crossed over the line, went over to right at the other. It was quite a lot further to go. I had about 3 stops to get to my stop, but instead I've gone to the other side of the platform, got about 5 stops to the other end, waited for the train to, because what happens on that line, you don't have to get off the train, you can stay on the train, and if you wait for 10 minutes it will start going back the other direction. So that's what I did. I got on the train going the other way because it was a lot quieter. got myself a nice little spot where I could stand there with my trolley and, wait till it went back the other way. And it got super packed coming back the other way. And I still got a few looks, even though I was kind of standing over by the side with my trolley. I still got a few kind of like, I still got a few grumblers, a few less than happy commuters. But yeah, it's a cattle truck kind of when, that train is at rush hour, or practically all trains in London are like that in rush hour, to be honest. All right. The only other thing that happened, I'm not sure if I should even be telling this story. The other thing that happened is I nearly had a wardrobe malfunction. Yeah, what's her face? I can't remember her name now. The Jackson sister, whatever her name is. Janet Jackson, she had a wardrobe failure, didn't she, when she was singing the Star Spangled Banner once, I think, at the Superhaul. I can't remember what it was, but I nearly had because being someone who likes to spend more money on comics than he does on clothes, and never being particularly a fashion junkie at any time. See, like I've got a lot of Doomsday missing there. So 74. And then 78, so 75, 76, 77 must be the Doomsday issue. So I'm assuming he must have sold the Doomsday stuff separately, perhaps. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, so being someone who doesn't spend an awful lot of money on their clothes, and just being a bit forgetful. Right, so at the moment I've got these underpants that keep slipping down when I'm wearing them, and I keep forgetting to throw them away. It's like I must throw these away when I get home. You know what I mean? Because they keep the elastic's gone in the waist, and then when I walk, they literally just slide down inside my trousers. Okay, right. Then that's the first part of the conundrum, and also. My trousers that I was wearing, that I'm still wearing at the moment, don't have a button on them. The button's fallen off. So they're kind of held up by the zip and the belt. Now this belt, it's like almost a perfect storm of circumstances that could have happened. It didn't quite happen, but it would have been something out of a Carry On movie or an old British sitcom. Anyway, so I'm trying to get this heavy trolley down this long flight of stairs. My bloody pants have slipped down inside my trousers, literally being held on by the blinking, just being held. I won't go into what part of my anatomy was slightly gripping onto them still, but anyway, 9900, yeah, okay. So, and I accidentally, when the trolley kind of slipped like on a stair, caught my belt buckle, and my belt sort of came open, and like my zip blinking nearly came down, and I was like hardly wearing any underpants. But luckily I was able to hold the trolley in place whilst holding my trousers in place, and luckily there wasn't anyone around either. But it was almost a point where I nearly, well, I don't particularly have any dignity anyway, but what little dignity I had or have was almost lost in a deep panting coming down the stairs. Right. Yeah, I knew that'd be a story that would be really interesting to everybody. 114. I could just see the headlines in the Evening Standard. Flasher on tube. 118. Claims he only wanted to get his comics home. Right. 121, 122. So the grey man was almost a blue man. 124, 125, 126. How are we going for time? 127. I think I could do these in 2 videos. 131, 132, 133. 134. Right, so a lot of these I say I've already got. This red and blue Superman period was when I was collecting it. I thought I started collecting with the bloody death of Superman, but no, I started collecting with the reign of Superman after he died. But I always thought I had the Reign of Superman, but I realised it must have been a trade paperback. I must have bought a trade paperback of it, because I know the story. I know, you know, thinking about it now, I think I can picture myself actually, holding a trade paperback in my hand, actually, reading it all as one in one book. But yeah, so that's, never mind. It's not a problem. Not a big deal. Maybe I'll collect them one day. But if I've got the trade paperback, I don't really need to, do I? Right, there we go. I think I'll make that video. I think that would do. Yeah, I'll make another video with the rest of the stuff. Put them up on different days. Cheers for watching.